For my synthesis project, I will be discussing the 4 components of writing that we have learned and practiced this semester. I'll be explaining each one and providing examples of times I have used these concepts with my students throughout this semester. So, the 4 components of writing I'll be talking about today are balanced literacy, writer's workshop, and the writing process stages, and the 6 traits of writing. Balanced literacy consists of the different ways in which literacy instruction is taught. These include interactive writing, shared writing, guided writing, and independent writing. Shared writing is when the teacher demonstrates writing to the student through a write aloud, and the teacher acts as a scribe for the student while they contribute ideas out loud. Interactive writing is when the student and teacher compose and write text together. It's different from shared writing because the student and teacher share the job of the scribe. Guided writing is when the student is responsible for writing, but the teacher is there to guide the student in the right direction. Lastly, independent writing is when the student writes on their own with little to no help from the teacher. When working with my student Ethan, he was amazing at independent writing. He always had his ideas organized and was able to write them out with little to no help from me. Our next component, Writer's Workshop, is aimed at guiding students through the writing process. It consists of a mini lesson, which is about 10 to 15 minutes, and that is when the teacher teaches the content to the students. Next is writing time for about 30 minutes, where the students write on their own. Then there's sharing time, where the student shares with the teacher or their peers what they have written. When working with Ethan, he loved sharing time. He would write for the full 20 to 30 minutes, then would anxiously wait to read to me what he had written. Our next component consists of the writing process stages. These are designed to guide the student through the writing process to ensure that they are producing successful writing pieces. These process stages include pre-writing, drafting, revising, editing, sharing, and publishing. Before Ethan began writing his story, we went through the pre-writing stage. He brainstormed ideas and wrote them down in brainstorm clouds. He used these to rejog his memory of the ideas he had brainstormed. Our last component is the 6 traits of writing. These 6 traits are known as the key ingredients of good writing. They are ideas, organization, voice, word choice, sentence fluency, and conventions. Ideas are the main message, point, or theme the student comes up with for their writing. Organization consists of creating a beginning, middle, and end to the student's writing in their story. Voice is when the student decides what way they are going to be telling their story, what voice, and to whom they will be telling their story to, what audience. Word choice is when the student adds in specific words to convey different emotions and actions. Sentence fluency has to do with how the student's writing sounds and flows, not just the way it looks. And lastly, conventions. These are the things we do to our writing to make it more readable. This includes spelling, punctuation, capitalization, grammar, and sentence structure. At the end of Ethan's writing process, we focused on conventions and more specifically his punctuation. He had great ideas and an amazing story overall, but all of his sentences merged together because he had no punctuation. He went through his writing and added punctuation at the end of each full idea he had, and that made his sentences flow more easily for the reader and for him. So how do all of these connect? All of these components connect together because writing is a step-by-step process, and you can't just move to the next step of writing before completing the previous one. For example, you can't work on conventions if you haven't completed the first 3 writing process stages, which are pre-writing, drafting, and revising. Next, you can find that the 6 traits of writing are connected to the writing process stages, and so you can focus on these different concepts in balanced literacy through the writer's workshop. After the mini lesson, you can either enter into the shared, interactive, guiding, or independent writing, depending on the student's needs and their ability.